Rose Ann Gregorio, ang kinatawan ng evening class.
Go, RA! Go, 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 go! Fight and win!
Kung hindi raw tumama ang pandemya, maganda sana ang takbo
ng ekonomiya kung hindi lang tumama ang pandemya. Kailangan daw tutukan ang pagtulong sa mga Pilipino para hindi sila magutom at ang mga negosyong apektado rin ng pandemya. Malaki ng Department of Public Works and Highways at ng Department of Transportation o DOTR ang Build, Build, Build program ng gobyerno na nagpatuloy daw sa gitna ng pandemya. Sabi ng DOTR, 163 projects ang naka-line up para sa taong ito na nagkakahalaga ng 88.7 billion pesos.
Good day, everyone. I'm Katrina Erica Elbangog, BSOA from Evening Class. Now let me tell you about our country's economic issues and solutions. Philippine economic issues are, first, low to moderate economic growth for the past 40 years. Second, low growth elasticity of poverty reduction. Third, weakness in employment generation. Fourth, failure to fully develop the agriculture sectors. Fifth, high inflation during crisis period. And lastly, COVID-19 pandemic risk factor and the uncertainties that affected our economy. So Philippine economic solutions are, first, we need to build 3 times project which addresses unemployment primarily to displaced workers or jobless. Second, SEC collects 119 million fees penalties through online tool. Third, DTI cities economic reforms in the Philippines to UAE biz. Fourth, DOE reviewing terms of references to study the National Oil Reserve. And lastly, one Department Agriculture Strategies programs like CMIP. That's all. Thank you.
Education unlocks a world of opportunity, yet millions of kids are still locked out of the classroom. Here's what you need to know. It's hard to overstate the upside of a good education. Whether you're from New York City or Bangladesh, the skills and understanding you gain in school are supposed to equip you for a lifetime of success. But for millions of kids all over the world, that simply isn't the case. Right now, 61 million children worldwide are being denied an elementary school education. 202 million more are missing out on junior high and high school. What's keeping these kids out of the classroom? War and unrest are leading culprits. 75 million children have had their schooling disrupted because of conflict and natural disaster. 62 million kids are out of school altogether because they live in conflict-affected countries. Girls are especially vulnerable. Every year, far too many female students drop out of school due to marriage, pregnancy, or fear of assault. Yet studies show that for every additional year beyond elementary school, a girl's potential to earn increases anywhere from 10 to 20%. Getting kids to school is only half the battle. In many areas where children are able to go to school, a shortage of trained teachers is holding them back. In 1 out of 3 countries, less than 3/4 of teachers are trained to national standards. As a result, 130 million students aren't even learning the basics. 130 million kids, that's twice the population of the United Kingdom. The need to invest in education couldn't be clearer, and yet last year, less than 2% of humanitarian aid was spent on education. If nothing changes, as many as 25 million children, the majority of whom are girls, will never set foot in a classroom. Who knows if one of those kids could have been the next Marie Curie or Albert Einstein? No child should be denied their right to education because of where they were born. Together, we must show up to ensure that every child has access to 12 years of free, quality education regardless of their circumstances.
COVID-19 pandemic that has also affected the sector of education, leading to envisioning the so-called new normal. In education, new normal requires to unlearn what we have always known. The rows of tasks, heavy bugs, tangible outputs, physical interactions, public exams, mass lectures, and even parent-teacher relationship. With this premise, distance learning is directly correlated as enabler of this new normal delivery mode of education, depending much on online learning and digital means to adapt as education practices transit to the new normal. Learning will shift from public space to personal space as students study at the comfort and safety of their homes at their own pace. This changed the social interaction from physical to virtual. The new normal also means shift in the teaching delivery mode from one-size-fits-all to individualized and differentiated learning, where students can progress through the curriculum of different speeds and use different resources based on their own particular learning needs. This facet looks into the challenge of producing and redesigning learning programs and materials that cater the individual needs of students and their access to internet connectivity and digital resources. Another facet to consider is the shift of responsibility in learning facilitation that requires the active participation of household members, providing guidance and assistance throughout the home-based learning scheme. The new normal needs also to be defined in terms of new and alternative means of evaluating learning to monitor student individual achievement. Learning online has long
Bago pa man ang pandemya, may kinakaharap ng hamon ng ating bansa pagdating sa edukasyon. Ayon sa Southeast Asia Primary Learning Metrics, nahuhuli daw ang Pilipinas o ang mga estudyanteng Pinoy pagdating sa reading, writing at math. At mas pinalala pa nga ito ng pandemya at sunod-sunod na kalamidad na naranasan ng ating bansa. Kung susuriin natin, mas kailangang paigtingin ang affirmative action natin para sa mga disadvantaged group of learners. At siguro kasi natatapos tayo dun sa proseso na we deliver the lesson in the classroom and we're done. Ang sistema ng edukasyon ay hindi lang pinag-uusapan o pinatutungkulan dito ang mga administrators, policymakers, the students, and the teachers. But it also deals about the community and the home where these students are coming from. Ang edukasyon ay napaka-importanteng instrumento upang mahubog tayo sa ating pagkatao at maihanda tayo sa totoong laban ng buhay. Ngayon, dahil sa pandemya ay nagbago na ang kalakalan at sistema ng edukasyon dito sa Pilipinas. Kung dati harapan ang pagtuturo ng mga guro sa mga estudyante, ngayon ay blended learning na, kung hindi virtual ay modular. May ilang mga bagay akong nakikita na nagbe-breakdown kung bakit ang pagkakatuto ay hindi masyadong mabisa. Una, ang kalidad ng mga nagtuturo. Quality education cannot exceed the quality of teaching and teacher quality. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Importante that we get the best and the brightest teachers at the early stage of education. Bago tingnan ang mga teachers na nagtuturo sa basic ed, tingnan mabuti ang mga teachers na nagtuturo sa mga future teachers. Importante na magkaroon ng standard training to address this issue. Making our teachers in the early grades pedagogical experts. Kaugnay nito, nararapat din na maibigay ang karapat-dapat na pag-angat sa sahod o sweldo ng ating mga guro. Kasama dito, syempre, yung interest din ng mga bata o ng mga estudyante. At yung kakayahan din ng mga namumuno. At syempre, yung resources. Isa sa mga problema na kinakaharap ng mga estudyante ngayong panahon ng pandemya ay ang access to resource materials. Wala tayong sapat na mga school libraries. Yung ating public libraries ay hindi well-stocked. Yun yung nagiging challenge din na parang we have to build our own libraries. Actually, ayon sa mga datos, 30% lang ang nakakagalaw sa online class. Na ang ilan sa mga dahilan ay ang kawalan ng gadget o load o kaya naman ay nawalan ng trabaho ang mga magulang. At isa yan sa ating bibigyang pansin. Isa din sa ating tinitingnan ngayon ay yung mga alternative teaching katulad ng paggamit ng messenger kung saan target nitong turuan ng mga pamilyang walang access sa internet. Since free data ang messenger, gamit ang chat feature ay gumagawa sila ng mga classroom group chats batay sa grade level at community. May mga kasalukuyang programa tayo sa edukasyon dito sa ating bansa na sisiguraduhin nating naaabot talaga ang ating mga kabataan. O hindi lang ng mga kabataan, kundi ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino. Education for All, K-12 Basic Education Program, Abot Alam, programa para sa mga indigenous people, adapt a school program, at syempre yung libreng tuition fee sa kolehiyo.
During the martial law regime, with the signing of Presidential Decree number 994, President Ferdinand E. Marcos renamed the agency Department of Social Services and Development. In 1978, the DSSD was again renamed Ministry of Social Services and Development, in line with the parliamentary form of government during the martial law regime. Upon the institutionalization of democratic form of government, led by President Corazon Aquino, the ministry became the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, which continues to be known as such until today.
The current push for social media regulation is intended to mitigate the platform's impact on mental health issues. Yet, the concerns are largely fueled by information that was incomplete or taken out of context. Current evidence shows its impact to be inconclusive and suggests that more research is needed. Some of these concerns, such as the potential impact of social media in teens or other vulnerable groups, are a national phenomenon in the widespread adoption of novel technologies, or as its changing application, and a less tech-savvy user base often reveal unforeseen shortcomings.
Building an empowerment for our social welfare is the one most important goal in society. Assistance to the family needs with such program as healthcare assistance, food stamps, and unemployment compensation. This is to support families and individuals in need as they work towards a more secure and better life. In a relationship of welfare, funds and financial matter must be used properly to be more efficient and attainable. Eliminate the corruption, self-interest, our focus on responsibility of being a great leader.
Closest to her heart, Imelda Marcos cuts the ribbon on the country's first shoe museum. The former First Lady turned up in front of hundreds of admirers to get her hands on the outlandish footwear that made her name. She stunned the world by buying 1,200 pairs of shoes, whilst her country languished in extreme poverty. But Marcos has no regrets.
The mourners shouted anti-government slogans and waved flags.
Because when they went to my closet, they did not find skeletons, only...
Bakit po hindi matugunan ang kahirapan ng bansa? Bakit po ang edukasyon na mayroon tayo ngayon ay hindi pa rin tayo sapat para andarin ang ating buhay? Bakit po palaging tayong nagdedebate sa pagdating sa ating buhay? Bakit po madami tayong tanong sa ating buhay? Kung ako po mamimili ng isang lider, ang pipiliin ko po ang may abilidad. Bilang isang bata, dapat marinig to ng mga magulang ko at nakakatanda sa akin. Ang aking tanong, kailan kaya magkakaroon ng pagbabago?